Testing 1, 2. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Testing 1, 2. All right, what's going on, guys? We are back for one more. All right, so this one, I'm just going to go into it. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast, One Life. This episode is going to be about being outcome focused. Said differently, how do you implement a change? How do you start to overcome procrastination? How do you start to implement a new habit where maybe before it was extremely difficult and painful and you had failed? The answer to this is actually a lot simpler than you think. But it's going to require you to understand a few things. Let's ask some of those questions that are give you some of that clarity. One, what is it that you want to implement? What is the change that you want to implement? Two, who will you become? Once you do that, who are you once you've accomplished that? And then three, what are the benefits you're going to receive as a result of doing that action? See, a lot of this is going to be tied to, one, where you're putting your focus, and two, your identity, who you were and versus who you are becoming or are, right? Because the funny thing with identity is that we describe ourselves in a certain way. But the reality is we're not these one-dimensional beings. The reality is that we say we may not be courageous, we say we may not be confident. But the truth is, if I were to look at your life and, if it were on a whiteboard in front of me and I had your entire life there, I could be like, well, we have that experience there, that experience there, that experience there. Are you lying? Right? Because we've experienced the traits that we have. It's just that we're not choosing to call upon those traits, to call upon those characteristics. But what we're talking about here is, how do you implement that change? How do you follow through, get past that pain, so that you can create the habit, the change, whatever it is that you want in your life? And it's fairly simple. And actually, I pretty much just gave you the answer. But before I go further than that, I am going to tell you a story. So before, one of the things that I always wanted to do is I always wanted to work out in the morning, right? I work out nearly every single day, right? At least 5 days a week, I work out. But it was very challenging trying to work out in the morning. I couldn't bring myself to peel myself out of bed, especially if I had a shitty night's sleep, peel myself out of bed and then go down and start pushing weights. I was like, that's the last thing I want to do. And then now I'm here in Miami and I started up this routine. And part of the routine was I just need to get out and start moving my body. So I did that for a while, then I'd stop, and then I'd do it, and then I stop. And then I started doing something different. And this is where everything changed. I looked at the outcome, right? I saw what the task was. I knew how I was going to feel as a result of having to do it, right? This fucking sucks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get up. I just want to have a cup of coffee. I want to get food in my stomach, right? Those are the thoughts that were going through my mind. But when I looked at the question was, when I looked at the benefit from it, who I would become and the benefit that I would receive, and how I would feel, that is what pulled me through, and that is what gave me the routine now of working out first thing in the morning. And how can you apply this to your life? Let me dive a little bit deeper in that, right? So I'm waking up, and I'm like, this morning, perfect example. I woke up. I didn't sleep that well last night because my mind was cycling through different things. And as a result, I woke up several times in the middle of the night. And then looking at, the sun was coming through, the sun was rising, beating through my window, and I just didn't want to move from my bed. I was just nuzzled up in my blanket, and I didn't want to move. So I went back to sleep for another 20 minutes just because I knew that I needed it, right? Because I woke up, my heart rate was elevated. I was like, no, I need to relax. My body needs a little bit more rest. Went back to sleep and woke up, and then I was okay. God, I really don't. I think it was 8 o'clock. I'm like, I really don't want to go down to the gym at 8 o'clock. But I was like, what is the benefit? How am I going to feel after I go to the gym? And I know that once I get it done, I feel good. It's a new identity. I love getting out there first thing in the morning because it feels great. I move my body, and as a result, I have more energy to bring to my day. When I focused on that, I literally put the shoes on, put my workout shirt on, drank like 20 ounces of water, and out the door I went. Which brings me to now. And I've been doing this morning routine for literally, I mean, I don't even know, at least probably like a couple months now. And it's amazing because this was always something that I struggled with. And it just goes to show you that how easy it can be when your focus is in the right direction, when you're looking at the horizon, when you're looking at the thing that you want to have, not the problem or the difficulty that's in front of you. Look at what you want to have, because that is what's going to pull you forward. So let's go back to your life. Like what is the decision that you've been wanting to make, or an action you've been wanting to take, but you've been putting it off just because you're like, oh yeah, but if I do that, I can't watch my favorite episode. If I do that, I can't, I'll have to wake up a little bit earlier. Where's the hang up? And once you've identified the hang up, let's look at the benefit. Like, how are you going to feel once you've actually accomplished it? Right? Get acquainted with the feeling of it. And then how is that going to make you feel about your day? What kind of momentum is that going to give you? If you're answering these questions that I'm asking, I know for a fact that you're going to feel very different than you did just a moment ago. And in order to make those changes, that is where you need to consistently put your focus on what you're going to get, on the benefit. Do that enough, and then that routine, it will just, you'll build the routine, and you won't have to think about it anymore, because the reason why you're doing it is going to be so ingrained in your mind that it's going to be second nature. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'll add one more thing. So it's kind of goes with the same thing, although you need to know what the outcome is. You need to know what the benefits. You need to know the feelings you want to have. But it's just swallow the frog first. Right? Don't put off like the big thing for, the last moment in the day, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get to the end of your day, you're going to feel spent, and you're not going to want to do it. Swallow the frog first. To prove the point, like one of the things that I had been very hesitant to do was posting reels, creating and posting reels. This podcast is actually part of that, because I'll make clips of this podcast to post as reels, but I'm also going to do a coffee reel that I'm going to end up posting on my TikTok account. And if I told you, like, you'd be like, "Wow, it should be easy for you, right? You're doing this podcast." You go, "No, it was not easy for me." But I made the commitment to do it, and as a result, that is the first thing that I am putting my efforts to this morning and for the rest of my life right now, right? Because, and this is great because now I'm saying this here, now I have accountability. Because when I think about the benefit, like, why do I want to do this? I want to inspire people. I want people to seize the moment, to do the things that are going to make them happy, to live now, to live the best version of their lives. Because not a single moment is guaranteed. And with the coffee, I want people to savor the moment. So I want to create coffees that inspire those moments. And I want to share and evoke those feelings and remind people that today is the only moment. Today is the only day you have. This moment is the only moment you have. So enjoy it. And knowing that, right, that is what's going to pull me through. That's what's going to make me take the action. So why is it you want to do what you want to do? Let's go back to those questions again. So 1, what is the new action behavior you want to implement? Secondly, we could imagine, what is the difficulty, right? What is the challenge you're going to be facing, or the hardship you're going to have to overcome? Excuse me. And then next, what is the benefit? Like, how is it going to benefit you by doing this now? And then in addition to that is, how are you going to feel? Like, how are you going to feel once it's done? Like, what are the emotions you're going to feel? Put your focus there and then take the action. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for tuning in, for allowing me to be that little angel on your side. Sometimes I can be the devil too, but to be the angel on your shoulder, to inspire you, to let you see like the real you and connect you with your desires. Because again, it all goes with the truth that not a single moment is guaranteed, right? You were only guaranteed this moment. Like, 1 second from now, something could happen. Two, who knows? I'm not going to get into that morbid thing, but every moment is a blessing. Take advantage of it. Enjoy it. Pursue your passions. Pursue your one life. So again, if you enjoyed this, please share this with 5 people whom you feel could benefit from hearing this message. If you have any questions or would like to comment, please send them to me via my website at donnyraus.com. Again, www.donnyraus.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully, live passionately, and most of all, live now. God bless you guys, and I will see you again soon.